The theme of this year's Books on My Bag campaign is Desert Island Reads, and they have asked for people to share what 8 books they would take with them to a desert island. So I've done that. There's a little thing which you can write your answers on. So I'm going to share with you what my answers are and very briefly why I would choose these. So for starters, we've got His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. I figured this can be one book because there's a bind up. I've got the first one there. I've talked about these quite a lot. Basically, I would choose these books because every time I read them, I find something new in them. The second book I would take would be The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This is one of my favourite books of all time. As you will know, I recently reread it and loved it just as much. So I figured that if I can read it twice and still love it, then I can read it more times and still love it. The next one will also be no surprise. It is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I would take this because I feel like I know the characters in this book and I feel like they're my friends. Likewise with The Secret History. They're so very vivid and I think it would make me feel less lonely on a desert island. The fourth book is Alexander Dumas' The Count of Monte Cristo, and I would take this because I have read it before but I would like to reread it. I think I would get a lot more out of it the second time round, and it is a massive book. Also there's adventure and there's an island and treasure, so I feel like it would be quite a place appropriate read. The fifth book would be The Complete Stories of Catherine Mansfield. I do have a bind up edition of all of her work. It is back in New Zealand, but it's big, there are lots of stories, lots of different stuff happening in those. Catherine Mansfield is one of my favourite authors, so she had to be on the list. And why not take everything that she wrote? Number 6 is Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell, and I would take this because it's kind of like a short story collection, but they're all connected. I really want to reread it. It's been a while since I read it. It's one of my favourite books. There's also part of it that is set in the South Seas, and there's kind of adventure and islands and things, so I feel like that would be quite appropriate, but also there are places where it's total escapism because the setting is in the far-flung future. The 7th book is The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton, and I would take this because I want to reread it, because it is massive and because there is just so much going on and I feel like I would get a lot more out of it a second time and a third time, and there's a lot to analyse, so that would keep me entertained. And the final book is a book that I've already read 3 times in the past couple of months. And I feel like if I can read it 3 times and still love it, I can read it over and over again. It's a proper adventure. It's just, oh, I love it so much. It's The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Ideally, I would like to take this one and the second book in the trilogy, but yeah, I don't think I can justify 2 books by the same author in the same list. Also, the 3rd book isn't out yet, so maybe I would choose the 3rd book when it comes out. I did kind of want to include something in there that I hadn't yet read, but I wanted to play it safe. I wanted books that I know are really dear to me and that I can read and reread and analyse and will make me feel less lonely. So that was kind of my criteria for that. If I'm actually going to a desert island, I'd like to think that I would be a little more sensible and maybe take a book by Bear Grylls or something. Anyway, those are the books that I have chosen. I think I'm pretty happy with this list. In the comments below, please do let me know what books you would take to a desert island with you and whether or not you think my choices are wise ones. As always, thank you very much for watching and happy books in my bag.